Do you ever leave the salon and want to know what's going on behind the scenes?
Do you listen in on the neighbors' gossip in the salon chair when you're here?
Do you ever have a story that after you've left, you wish you told your hairstylist?
Especially the stories that you might have heard about, but never really heard the end to.
We like to yap. I'm Allie.
I'm Nora.
And I'm Macy.
And welcome to On the Floor with Little Fern.
Join us every other week.
We're back with our little throwback episodes.
Did someone say Flashback Friday? Indeed.
Macy did.
Today, today we are taking it all the way back to episode 5, which seems like a lifetime ago, according to Alysia. 2 years ago.
Years ago. In my brain, I've had too many M&Ms. This is how you know the year has been too long.
Because she thought it was...
Well, it's been like 2 years, technically, because we're already almost in the next year.
Yeah.
I see where you're coming.
Well, we're about to be in 2025.
We're not there yet. We're not a month out.
Well, no,
Episode 5 was December of last year.
Yes, and the title was, did you say Bloody Balls? What a great episode.
It's such a good episode.
Honestly, like, I would say unpopular opinion before we get into the season. I think some of our best work, despite the quality of the episodes, were for sure our first, like, maybe 10 episodes.
The raw beginnings.
Yes, we were really just like living life on a prayer. I mean, we started off recording on my iPhone, so
just Macy's iPhone.
yes, literally just my iPhone, and we were in a circle on the same couch.
Oh, it was really like a moment of togetherness.
Yeah, I mean, did we have this couch when we started recording, or was it an old couch?
I don't know, it was 2 years ago.
It was 2 years ago. It was 2 fucking years.
It was anyone's game. You know, it was 1995, and the mood just struck you when, you know, things were happening.
We didn't have cell phones back in 1995.
I thought you were going to say 5 years. Yeah. So that was my personal favorite episode. Not only because of, like, I think, if anything, the retelling of the episode was probably my favorite. I mean, I've never seen Bloody Balls in my life before, so that was an experience.
You got to tune in to know what she's talking about.
You really do. You got to take a listen. It's a great one. It's a solid episode.
Enjoy.
Bye.
Bye.
All right.
We're ready.
Welcome back, everyone. It is another week and another night on the floor with Little Fern Salon.
Welcome in.
Grab your glasses of water because we're in hydrate stage of the holiday before we binge.
Oh, Nora is not drinking. She's got water. I got wine.
Don't even listen to these bitches.
Cheers, ladies. We're far away from each other, so we can't do a clink.
Cheers. We're trying to social distance. I'm just kidding. We're not doing that. We got new mics, and we're trying to see how they work. And we have to be a little bit further apart from each other, so we're not all smushed on the green couch as we normally would be. We'll see how this goes. We might all end up back on the green couch.
It's really cool. I'm very excited. The mics are pink. They have a little squishy, foamy guy on it. It kind of looks like a penis, the way that it's shaped. Definitely not made for deep throating, though. It's a little too large.
Love that. That's a nice visual.
And it's a good, like, handheld one.
Oh my God. I was taking a TikTok earlier with it, and I had gripped the bottom of the base in such a way that was like all you could look at in the TikTok was it. My hand didn't even look real.
Oh no, it looked like a fake paw, guys.
It was, you said paw. I thought, oh man.
She really fits well. Pawed in your hand.
This was not a hand, it was pawing, clawing at this microphone stand. I was scared.
It was uncomfortable to look at.
Describe the way you were holding it. I pictured claw, and then I pictured Khloe Kardashian's.
My sister always thinks that she has Khloe Kardashian hands, which In real life, she definitely doesn't, but it looked like Alysia had dipped her hand in candle wax and let it sit on there for about 10 hours and then took it off and immediately took a TikTok afterwards.
I couldn't pay attention to the video I was shooting because all I could see was me man clawing like an ape, like a gorilla hand, like the bottom of it. Because I came from the bottom. It was like a bottom reach, and it was bad. It was uncomfortable. But then they were also like glossy for some reason. In my defense, it's dry season, and you got to keep your hands hydrated.
Yeah, I mean, I would rather have waxy looking hands than some scaly, peeling, crusty hands. So I will give it to you. Those hands are preferred, but I don't know what was going on. They did not look real.
She's been lubing it up with the goat milk stuff in the back, and I have been seeing her do this frequently. So I went to dip my hand in there the other day right in front of her, and she saw me get jammed up in there because it's actually like a hard substance. So you dig a bit out of there, and then once it's in your hand, it melts, and then you're like, oh shit, I went too hard on it.
Then it like warms up. It like warms up like butter.
Oh, 100%. I really like it, and I always enjoy when Alysia uses it because I never even watch her use it because she's such a pro at like scooping the hard material out of the jar. And so I never see her actually utilizing it. All I do is smell it, and I'm like, and it smells delicious. And I don't use it myself all the time, but no wonder why you got the waxy hands. It makes sense.
Hey, I'm an eczema kid, and that's just eczema life. You're always just lubed up. I don't really know what else that was a rough intro, guys. This is raw. This is who we are. We're a lot, and welcome.
Oh, it's fine. We can move on to the positives of the week if we'd like.
Oh, positive. Hopefully it's positive. A lot of family time. It was the holidays, so lots and lots of time spent with the family. Eating some charcuterie board. I made a bomb charcuterie board for my family. Have you guys ever had chocolate cheddar cheese?
Please explain what is the concept of chocolate cheddar cheese?
Okay, so I don't know where it came from. I didn't invent it. But, however, I did have some at this wine bar with my girlfriends, and it was called chocolate coffee cheddar. And I thought, that sounds disgusting. But I had it, and it was divine. It was so good. So when it came time for me to make a charcuterie board for my family, I also said, I need to find this chocolate cheddar for my family. And I did. And surprisingly, it wasn't like, I would say like win everyone over hit, but everyone tried it, which I was very impressed with my family because they're picky. And I got good answers, like some people were like, ooh, not for me. And other people were like, that's really interesting. I like it. It tastes really good with drinking. It's a really good, like paired with wine, have with a glass of champagne, things like that. It was really good. It's very interesting. I don't really know why somebody accidentally said, let me put chocolate in my cheddar or coffee or things like that, like sweetness, but it's really good.
I want to know how you found it so quickly.
I think it's a thing. I'm pretty positive that it's like a pretty popular thing, and we're just too busy eating deep fried mozzarella sticks to notice. Could I go for a cheese log right now? Absolutely.
My mouth is watering at the thought of a cheese log at the moment.
But we're trying to be more refined, naturally. But it was a winner. It was a real hit. I was really impressed with my charcuterie board. Cute backstory. I ordered all of mine online and had it delivered at my home because once I found out about Instacart, which shout out to Nora for introducing me to Instacart, I set up Instacart deliveries to my home for like a specific time, which is amazing. And I had set it up to be at my home when I got off work the night before Thanksgiving. My husband was working from home that day, and he went grocery shopping for just our regular groceries. Like it wasn't for anything specific, just to get dinner stuff, get stuff we need for the house. And his sweetheart, bless his soul, thought, you know what I'm also going to do for Alysia? I'm going to get all of her cheeses and meats and charcuterie board stuff.
The thought was there.
It was there. He executed so sweetly. But what he didn't realize is I didn't need anything. And that's why in the text, when he said running to the grocery store, I didn't say, can you also get me double? Yeah. So we came home. Well, I came home and my delivery was there and I put everything away and then I went upstairs and I got into my comfies because that's what you do when you get home from work. You get into your comfortable clothes because that's what every female does in the world. Get out or immediately rip your bra off, put on your cozy sweats. It's life. And then my husband comes home while I'm upstairs and all of a sudden he comes upstairs and goes, I didn't make this up, right? You didn't have all the meats and cheeses before I left for the grocery store, right? And I said, no, why? And he goes, well, because I thought I would be really nice and I bought it all for you. And I said, oh, that's so nice.
So therefore, you are now presented with double.
Every single thing I need to make yeah.
So, needless to say, I use a little bit of his and a little bit of mine, and it was great. And we still have so much meat and cheese, guys, at my house.
I think you should definitely bring in some for the salon.
We should. Yeah, it's a great idea. I'll do it tomorrow.
I'm preparing for the holiday. I did a lot of decorating last week, cleaning up and rearranging, and preparing for people to be at my home and host. What I do every November is I decide the week of Thanksgiving, because I don't even know what my purpose is in life at that point in time, every November, that I'm going to clean out my workshop the week of a holiday when I'm hosting people at my home and having business, floral business. So I gut everything and make it a whole ADHD disaster zone. But I do get it done. Sometimes I don't get a lot of sleep. But then I'm just being manic. Let's be honest. That's what's happening. I'm moving my manic behavior into something positive that will benefit me in the future, which is Marie Kondoing things and getting rid of things. And it ends up being helpful in the long run. Cut to this week when I'm having trouble moving my neck and my shoulders, and I'm curiously wondering why.
You've had a week, I think, and that's okay to admit.
Nothing has been actually happening. Well, I'm going to tell you, when somebody dies on a significant time of year, whether you're thinking about it or not, it's always where your mood is going.
Which is very reasonable. Like, grief is not a linear process at all, and it can appear in many different ways.
And subconsciously, you have no control over how you feel or why you feel that way, and you don't understand. And that's what it is for me.
There is a book out there called The Body Keeps Score.
She loves this book. I still haven't read it, but I really should, because she talks about it 3 times a year.
100,000,000%. And I highly recommend it. And but it really keys into like what you were just kind of talking about, is sometimes not understanding why you might feel the way you feel, but you know why you feel the way you feel. And it's just because,
I've heard that it's a very accurate representation of trauma, and it's being stored in a person's body.
It is. And you're allowed those feelings, but your body is remembers those things. Your body knows. It's just a very interesting book. And I definitely think that it's worth the read, or the audiobook if you're feeling like you'd rather audiobook it, which another fan favorite of mine.
Because it's a rough month.
Well, that's another reason why I love podcasts so much too. Like, I literally fell asleep to a great podcast last night. That wasn't ours, but that's just because we don't have another episode out right now. But that being said, it was a really good one. But I love audiobooks. I love podcasts. I like listening to a lot of things as well.
Alysia is the audiobooker. I honestly have never met somebody who is an audiobooker, maybe because I don't know a lot of readers except for me. I love how much you love your audiobooks.
It's pretty fabulous, I will say. It is just another resource for listening. I like noise, but sometimes I don't always like music.
I do have a question, since you're such a big like listener to audiobooks and podcasts. You tell me a lot of the time that you do it when you're falling asleep or, you close your eyes and you do it. For me, I think that's one of the biggest difficulties that I have with it because I don't put on podcasts or books like when I'm winding down to like go to bed. Like I'll sit at the end of my bed and read a book, but I would get so annoyed by the fact that I would lose my place. Like how do you deal with that?
There's this beautiful thing on your phone called Sleep Timer. It's different and it's on there and it's an option for like when episode ends, for 15 minutes in, for 10 minutes in. You can do chapters on books. It's a real game changer.
I have used it one time with a book that I was reading, and I was like, "Ugh, I like don't really care what he's saying, but I want to listen, but I also like want to be able to backtrack."
Yes, so you don't lose your place then. I really wish Luke would use it because he also listens to things when he's going to bed. And the next thing you know, it's 5 a.m. and whatever he was listening, Joe Rogan for the 90th time because he listens to the Rogan Experience. I don't really love to shout out that podcast because it is very aggressive. This last episode that I had to listen to while Luke was, of course, snoring away, but I couldn't get to his phone across him, was over this guy who like was talking about UFO experiences. And I thought, is this really what I'm listening to right now?
It's giving conspiracy theory.
Oh, Luke loves conspiracy theories. I can't even get the word out.
Well, as we know, a UFO is no longer a conspiracy theory.
We can all collectively agree what before the confirmation of UFOs, we all knew that life outside of this earth.
Well, I mean, I feel like it's just narcissistic to assume that you were the only people.
Do you guys believe in ghosts?
If you have a spiritual connection, that's certainly way like more insane than just thinking that there are UFOs and AI. And like, if you can think spiritually about anything happening around you that you can't see or feel.
I have a crazy ghost story about this house that I used to like house sit for, my mom's best friend's house. Oh my God. They died. Yeah, this person died in the house. It was a friendly ghost, but he died in the house and shit would pop off in that house. Like I could not stay there alone. It was wild.
That's scary. I've always been somebody since, I don't know in a past life if I had an experience with a paranormal like entity, but since I popped out the womb, I've been deathly afraid of paranormal shit. I believe in it so much where I'm so scared of being haunted by something paranormal.
I think a spirit is something that you can also welcome in by having intrusive thoughts like that. Also something that you can tell to go the fuck away.
I think for me, it's always been, I welcome good energy and things like that. But I think for me, it was always more the fear of like negative energy. And like I guess I was more of a negative person growing up anyway, so it kind of makes sense that I would have focused on that.
You were going to end up with some fucking poltergeist.
But I was really scared that, I mean, like, I think one of my first movies that I watched as a kid that I should not have been shown was when I was shown a paranormal, like, activity movie. And those ones are, like, I mean, let's be honest, they're not that scary, but, like, to somebody my age that believed in ghosts so much, that shit was scary. And I was scared that I would just be, like, killed by a entity. Like, it was such, like, a irrational fear, but it felt very real.
Amen. Well, I'm sorry we got really sidetracked with that, but there is a great timer app, and I will show you it. And audiobooks are amazing, and everyone should listen to them if you like that kind of stuff. But I also feel like it's because I like to multitask.
Moving on. So I really want to divulge my Blackout Wednesday.
Let's get into it. Let's get ready to rumble.
I mean, if you are from the Midwest, and I'm not sure that this is just a Midwest thing, like it has to be some everywhere. Some people say they don't know about it. Me, I grew up in a family with an older sister, so Blackout Wednesday has always been a holiday.
I also think it was generational. Like, I don't think Blackout Wednesday was forever. I definitely think it came about, as my mom was also talking about, with, like, my older cousins' generations, and then really hit home for, like, my generation.
So we all know the Wednesday before Thanksgiving, aka Thanksgiving Eve, Blackout Wednesday, Wasted Wednesday, whatever you want to call it. Personally, I call it Blackout Wednesday. So I went out to my local bars and it was great. I was not expecting the amount of people for the pregame at my house. We always start off at my house, it's kind of like the center of everybody's houses in the Hoflo area. And I think we had over 15 people at my house. And it was great. We were drinking, having a good time. I definitely did brown for sure. For those of you that don't know, browning is like when you're not blacked out, but there's definitely spots of the night that it's gone. At one point, though, this is before we even go out. We're drinking, having a good time. My sister's friends are over. I know some of her guy friends. And I think that, the girlies are in the bathroom peeing. And so I'm like, I'm going to go hang with the girlies and I have to pee myself. So I walk into the bathroom. It's unlocked. I walk in and what do I see? I literally see a man standing over the toilet peeing and I see penis in my face. I saw everything. And then I walk out and I'm like horrified. I walk back into the kitchen and people are like, did you just walk in on him? And I was like, yeah, I did. And that wasn't great. I walked in with my other friend too. So we were going to chat and have a girl time in the bathroom and it didn't end up being girl time. Very different vibe walking in on a man versus walking in on your girlfriends that are peeing. That is for sure. We go out. I see a lot of people. There was this one guy that I kind of had a thing with at the beginning of the summer. And he was waiting for my arrival after I got back from California. So I did see him out at the bar and he was like, where have you been? And like was trying to get up on everything. But podcast world, I am cuffed again. So could not do that. It was a great night though, besides that. Got very drunk, then was ready to go home. And so me and my friend Brooke, we walked back to my house and I went to bed. It was great. Oh, we went out to the fifth quarter. At one point, I think I was at the tin ceiling for maybe 5 minutes. And then the vibe was just not vibing there. It was so many people and so packed. And the tin ceiling, for those that know it, it is a very like aisle kind of based bar where it's like you're walking. I mean, then you get to the pool tables, but when everybody's walking there, there's like no aisle. It's basically like you're at Lollapalooza going through the crowd and trying to like elbow through, and that's not very enjoyable. So I remember we just hopped back to fifth quarter for like another hour or two.
Are there a lot of people your age at these places?
Oh, 100%. So Blackout Wednesdays, I think it's very popular with my age group, at least with my like high school class. I saw like my entire high school there, like at least everybody that I know.
Yeah, I feel like that's the age demographic is everyone's home from college. Everyone goes out.
Yeah, and I think it's a really fun opportunity, at least for me. The reason that I find Blackout Wednesday to be so fun is not only the fact that you get to go out and drink before a major holiday, but you also go and get to see people that you have not seen in either years or at least since last year's Blackout Wednesday. And so it really, anything can happen. I don't know who's going to hook up with who are you going to flirt with? Is there going to be drama? Are there people that aren't friends that were friends last year? That is kind of what I live for, is the drama of it.
I love a good Blackout Wednesday. My mom had to pick me up from so many. Me and my friends.
My mom joins in on Blackout Wednesday with us, so that's not even possible.
It's very exciting. I was hosting the Blackout Wednesday events. I just didn't have a bar life.
I don't think that Blackout Wednesdays have to be like segregated to just going out to the bars. I do think, at least for my kind of Blackout Wednesdays, something that I like to do because there are bars that are just like right in downtown Homewood. But I also think that if you have a decent group of people that are coming over for a Blackout Wednesday, it's just as valid of a Blackout Wednesday as going out to a bar Blackout Wednesday.
Except for when I lived across from Thornton Distillery and I walked to the distillery.
That was a fun time.
That was a fun time. I had a lot of Blackout Wednesdays. You guys are lucky to live in this community where there are your bars. Because I'm pretty sure you didn't have this. Like Lansing, fucking Marionette Park to Bourbon Street, Cherville for Kavanaugh's. I was like always having to go far to get to the bars too.
And also like Ubering, like something that I'm really fortunate about is the fact that I mean, we usually Uber to the bars there because it's cold on the way there and like we're not drunk enough. But on the way back, we're like, fuck it, we're gonna walk back. So that's very nice. But even my boyfriend, like he was going out to his bars in the area, and for them, it's like at least it's like a 10-minute drive. So they have no option to walk, which kind of sucks in my opinion. Because I mean, even for them going back though, it's like main, like busy, like highway, like roads, which is not an option, especially like you're drunk and walking, like you could easily get hurt.
Yeah, that's how my growing up was too. You had to drive or you had to get like somebody to drive you.
So, I mean, I'm sure you're getting in like either random people's cars, you're walking super far home, or you have a person. I mean, like, I know a lot of people are DDs, but are they DDing though? They say they are, but they're still drunk driving.
But to be honest, like DD was like just like they were the soberest of your friends was honestly what a DD was.
Or they should be the soberest. They tell people that they're sober, but they're not actually sober, which is super dangerous.
It was a scarier time. It was a scarier time, guys. You don't do that anymore.
And I think that's why I get so frustrated at people my age when they like openly admit to drunk driving or try to put me in a situation where that happens, where I'm like, you know what, I get it, like you have a few beers or something like that, that is a completely different situation than like going hard and then like driving. There's so many options. There's Lyft, there's Uber, there's, you literally name it, there is a way that you can get home.
Yeah, there really is no reason now to like not be able to be like much safer. And it's much more fortunate now for like these ages.
Imagine our parents who didn't have to wear seatbelts and drunk drove all the time.
And my mom told me, and I didn't realize that like seatbelts in like her generation growing up were more of like, they were 100%, if anything, a suggestion.
Well, and not every car had them. Like, it wasn't like a thing for all cars.
And that is absurd to me. Like, my mom, I remember the amount of times that we'd like go somewhere and driving and she'd forget to put her seatbelt on. And for me, that's never been something, but it's also just shows like such a generational difference with like, for us, I feel like there's a lot more like value over like your life. Whereas then it was just kind of like, fuck it, we ball.
No. Oh, no. They were also really just fucking bouncing around back there.
Yeah, we were like just kids. We were just like babies and like waddling around in backs of cars and just like hanging out in like backs of station wagons where like there wasn't seatbelts and it was just like, it was a crazy time to be alive. This is why we are the way we are. You guys want to talk shit in comments about millennials, but we've seen some shit.
Okay, so if we want to talk about millennials, because I'm going to get into this, my For You page has really been hating on them. And I will say, there is a category of millennials that I can't fucking stand.
Well, I really hope it's not the two that are sitting next to
No, it's not. It's not. But I feel like it's like a spin-off of you guys, you know?
Please tell us what it is, Macy.
Is it the hipster millennial?
No, it's more of like the millennial that tries so hard to be funny and like quirky, but ends up just being fucking absurdly disturbing and weird. That's what I don't like. I don't know if you guys on TikTok have seen like this one where this girl, she like really likes her crunchy, crispy toast. And she's like, my crunchy, crispy toast.
Ew, she does like voices?
Get out of here. Yeah, she like does these weird, like, you know, like you see people do like funny voices and it's actually funny. It's like she tries so hard to be funny. It's like you're actually just cringing me out. That is like the kind of millennial hate that I'll like solicit towards. I won't like actively hate. I'm not a person that like rolls up into somebody's comments and hates. I'm more of like an observer.
I don't TikTok comment to begin with. I didn't realize that that's like, I mean, clearly I live for comments, but people go hard. And I didn't realize until I was sitting next to my husband at the breakfast table. And all of a sudden I realized
Was he doing that on a randos?
he's a commenter. He's a TikTok commenter.
There's different levels of TikTok users. He is a commenter. He's probably a person that likes to fight in the comments.
Oh, you know he is. You know he's a roll up. You know he's a roll up to the crib. Like he's definitely like a.
My friend Melanie, she does the same thing. I'm not a commenter, but if it's an original video with like not a lot of likes but looks like it will, I will comment.
I've thrown a heart out there or two. I'm not gonna lie, but I've never actually gotten into like a TikTok war with anyone. That seems absurd.
I throw a recommendation on people's things.
Hot take. I did. Recently, I actually did because this really pissed me off. Hot take video. It was a hot take video, and I did not like the hot take because I said, what the fuck? What the fuck is this hot take? Because fuck your hot take and shove it up your ass. It was, you are a horrible person if you recline your seat on an airplane. Personally, I say, go fuck yourself. Second of all, reclining your seat does not reduce the amount of legroom that you have. It reduces the amount of headroom that you have.
Second of all, the recline is like 30 milligrams. It doesn't even go.
I said, hot take. Okay, so in turn to that, they recline their seat, you recline yours. It's a chain effect, and everybody gets their seat reclined. It's more comfy. Not to mention, if you are on a flight that is longer than, I don't know, 2 hours, reclining your seat is kind of necessary.
That seems aggressive to call somebody horrible for it.
That really made me mad. I commented and I said, or crazy idea, you recline your seat. And people were coming for me in the comments, and I was like, clearly this is on the wrong side of TikTok because it's giving like, pick me, choose me. I mean, picture this, you roll back and you're in somebody's lap looking at them. That would be like offensive. We're talking about 2 inches here. Grow up. Grow up. I can tell that you don't travel a lot.
Tell Macy's still really hot about this.
I am. I'm really hot about it because I'm like, how are you going to say that I'm a horrible person for reclining my seat on the plane because, I don't know, because that's what you're supposed to do. That's why you have a fucking recliner. It's not like I mechanically engineered it myself and took out my toolbox and then put the seat back. It was made that way. Like, are you shitting me? I wonder like what kind of, I think that we're gonna have to like ask him what kind of videos does he feel inclined to comment on. Speaking of boys, we saw a pair of balls, guys.
Oh, yes.
A pair of balls, and it's ingrained into my memory, and it wasn't just normal balls, it was bloody balls. Alysia, this client of yours.
She's great. It's amazing.
I love her.
It was very chaotic. Well, that day started out chaotic because, let's rewind it for just a second. It already started with a friend of her tracking her nanny with an AirPod and then wondering if the nanny could figure out that she was being tracked by an AirPod.
It was like her friend put an AirPod or an AirTag. It was an AirTag. She put an AirTag in her nanny's, like, I don't know, stroller or whatever, car.
On her person.
Without the nanny actually knowing.
You know you're being tagged because it tells you.
It tells you that a tag is following you. Yes. So I'm just saying, first of all, she should have thought that one out a little bit more.
Then she texted her friend, my client, and asked, should she have told her nanny that she has an AirTag on her?
Yeah, it seems like a good idea because she probably is going to think that she's being murder stalked to like get raped and pillaged somewhere.
And of course, this client then was telling us about it, and we, of course, immediately chimed in and said, yeah, immediately. The AirTag tells you you've been AirTagged. So she knows.
As a nanny, I have extensive nanny experience. I would be very uncomfortable. I don't think I would think that I was being tracked by my family. I would just think that like some stranger who knows that I'm like a single woman put an AirTag on me and they're trying to kill me. And so I feel like for that safety reason, she'd have to be like, just so you know, if like you get a notification that an AirTag is following you, it's just for the safety that like if anything happens to you or the baby when you're out. Totally understandable. But just putting it in there and being like, fingers crossed you don't find out about it. No, I can't rock with that. We want to know the goss.
Yes, and I love this for her because like she lets us in, which I love that people feel comfortable to clearly let us into their world.
They haven't just set aside their day to sit here and do nothing. They like are continuing their normal flow of the day, and then like we're just part of it.
I feel like when you go to the hair salon anyways, it's not like there's any sort of consequence of opening up here. It's a free space and you're coming into our day doing whatever was going on outside, and sometimes you gotta vent. Sometimes you gotta open up and say, what the fuck is going on?
So we started off the hair appointment with that chaotic like messaging like exchange, and we were all a part of it, and we were like, what is going on? Then it's time for her to be washed out now.
I'm at the bowl. I'm washing.
And her significant other works nights. You can take what you would like from the deduction of what he might do for a living. But he works nights. So he has now woken up to get himself ready for his day,
To shower,
to get ready.
to freshen up the area, to do as women like to call an everything shower.
When you like to landscape, shall we say.
Manscape in this case, because we have a man scaping the area.
And all of a sudden, she gets an alertive message from her husband, who's at home, and it says that he has hurt himself. And probably not in the way that you think. It's in the way of manscaping gone wrong. Gone awry, maybe. He did pretty much almost cut his balls off.
Oh, he like gashed the fuck out of them with whatever manscaping tools.
It's like a hacksaw at this point. Like, I don't know what he was using.
He said that like he literally gashed it. So we're just hearing about this at this point. She's just telling us that like he hurt his man parts bad.
Yes. But what we weren't prepared for was that Macy's washing her at the bowl. And so she, has her head back, phone in hand, and he does what, Mace?
So at a hair salon, I'm standing there doing the hair, but I'm directly behind the client. Many times the phone is right there in front of my face. Sometimes people angle it down. In this case, the phone was not angled down. It was angled up where I could see perfectly on the screen. She's talking about the situation. I'm like, oh, that really sucks. It sounds painful. No, it gets worse, guys, because I can now feel the pain myself, and it's seared into my eyes. A message comes through, and it's not a text message. It is an image of a bloody ball sack. And it's shaved. Like, trust me, like, he manscaped the fuck out of that. But it must have been, like, the last swipe or something that he just got a little too confident. And oh my God, he literally shivved the fuck out of his balls.
It wasn't like a little nick. It was like, it had to have been like a massacre in their bathroom.
I think he also asked her if, like, he needed to go to, like, the ER to get stitches because it was that bad and it would not stop bleeding.
It wouldn't. And it was like, it wasn't, it was like, it's really hard to this is going to be like a TMI situation, but clearly we've now all seen it. And she, of course, panics, shows her phone to her face, because clearly she's now like, oh my God, everyone has now, I didn't think it was going to be an image.
Oh, but Alicia's also, like, at this point, we need to, like, acknowledge the fact that Alysia is standing directly next to me because we're talking. So not only do I make eye contact with the balls make eye contact with me, but they also make eye contact with Alysia. And I see Alicia's face, and, like, I tried to look away. No, Alicia's, like, jaw on the floor, eyes, like a cartoon eyes popping out of her fucking head.
Just so we know, like, I am also here the same day that this is happening, while this is happening, but that was a whole separate fucking cartoon happening on a different level that, like, I heard it happening, but I didn't see it happening, and you guys really went through an experience.
Thank God you didn't see it.
I mean, balls aren't attractive to begin with. So it wasn't like when I saw the photo, I said, oh my God, I got to see your man's balls. I was more, oh my God, he might actually need stitches.
Like, I was not only concerned for his well-being, but I was also concerned for my well-being of how he was going to feel after seeing his bloody balls.
And at the same time, I was also like, wait, let me see that again. Is there a way where it could be like more butterflied together, back together? Like
glue it? It's giving like you need to gorilla glue it back together. Like,
said, girl, I think this is like a glue situation. And then she was like, what? Then we got into a whole discussion afterwards about like how she should actually just go get glue.
You handled it well, though.
You know what I really want to discuss? This lady who was sitting here yesterday.
Oh, okay. So on the topic of weird things, this woman. So you guys weren't even really like, you were kind of here for it. Nora was in the back.
I was not getting, let me tell you one thing. Nora encounters all these people who come in and want appointments, but we do things a little differently. And then I have to awkwardly explain how we do things differently while our clients are listening. And the clients, when the new person that walks in leaves, the clients freak out about how we do things, and it's a whole thing. So I said, I'm not getting up from the floor. I was making a chalkboard sign.
I handled it. I was with one of my oldest clients who I've seen since she was like a baby, and now she's a full-grown, fully developed human.
I always like hear the door going, you know, like it makes its noise. We have like, you can hear when the door opens to the back. Oh yeah. You can hear when the door opens, and so this is kind of what I felt in this situation was I heard the doors open. It's my job as the assistant, or just my job, I guess, as a person who works here, to greet the guests, to ask them if I can help them with anything, if I can get them water. And sometimes people come in, they're a new client, and I don't know who they are, but it's always just in my head that doesn't matter if I don't know them, I always greet them the same way that I would greet anybody else. This lady walks in the back. I'm in the back, and she mentions the fact as I'm walking out, it's warm in here, and she's mumbling something.
She was mumbling. Okay, so I'm washing my client. I was cutting her hair. She's a curly girl, so I cut first, and then I'm washing. So I was washing her instead of Macy. And so we're chit-chatting still. And all of a sudden, this woman walks in. She doesn't have her hat on or her gloves on, but she has them in her hands. And so I'm like, okay, I don't want to call her elderly, but she's elderly. And she's frail looking if we're going to set the scene. So she walks in and she immediately sits down. She's almost going to lay down, but she sits.
Plops her butt on the couch.
And I go, "Hi, can we help you?" And she was like, "Yeah, it's nice and warm in here." And I was like, "Oh, okay. Can I help you though?" And she was like, "Yeah, I lost my gloves, but I found them now. I'm just going to make a phone call."
She just plops down, and this is when I come out, and at this point, she's talking to herself.
She's like full on
like mumbling, like not to the point where I can make out every word, but I can hear a decent amount where I know that she's not talking to me. She's not talking to Nora, but she's trying to contact these apparent friends that she's lost. And also, we need to preface, it was really fucking cold yesterday. Like, freezing cold, fair enough. But at the same time, it was just a very weird interaction that she came in, didn't really ask if she could stay in here, assumed that she could stay in here, sat down, talking to herself.
So then she gets on the phone with other people and is like, "Where did you go?" "Well, I went that way." "Well, I found my gloves." "Well, I went that way. Where did you guys go?" "Well, I'm in the barber shop," which the barber shop is next door. She then goes, "Well, I walked all the way over there and I didn't see you. I went back to the car and I found my hat and my gloves and I didn't see you. So I lost you." And I'm thinking, this is when I immediately think, does she have dementia or Alzheimer's? So then I ask her again, "Can we help you?" And she then is like, not like listening to me at all, but is like on the phone with her family member, person she was with. I don't really know. So she then just disregards us here and then gets off the phone and goes, "Well, I don't really want to leave here because it's nice and warm."
I could hear all of this from the back while I was doing the chalkboard sign, and I just thought, why is she still here?
Honestly, though, I'm not gonna lie, she was a strange bird. But then a little piece of me thought, is she okay?
My vibe from not seeing anything was that she thought that she was going to fumble around as she did and talk on her phone and mumble to herself, but she thought she was coming into a retail space where she could like play it off. And then she just got slapped in the face by our retail shelves and the couch, and then realized that there were hairstyling things going on in here.
I think she panicked, and in her head, she was so cold, she was like, "Fuck this, I'm just gonna go into wherever," hoping that like maybe it would be a place that she could shop around. I don't think that was the intention, but I think she came in here, saw the couch, and said, bet, I'm putting my butt to this couch, and I'm gonna be warming up. And I'm not going to say please, and I'm not going to say thank you.
We love drop-ins. We love when people drop in. Drop in. Except if we don't know you. Then we're hesitant.
And like, just to be clear, this is not a new thing. That like, this has happened periodically with different people, different types of people, different scenarios, and you do get a vibe. So like, you should follow that. We have a little event this weekend, which we will look forward to doing with the Cancer Support Center.
I'll be coming from the football field, where hopefully DuPage College will be winning. Whoop whoop, championship. But I will be cold, so probably going like sweater, cute, something to warm me up.
We are going to be vendors, so I think that it would be appropriate to honestly, like, you know how I have my little like holiday like dress that I wore that one day where it was like I was super hot. I was thinking of probably wearing something like that and maybe putting like a little bow on my head and then wearing like my cute like boots.
Love that for all of us. I feel like we all have things to look forward to. I feel like hopefully you do as well. And we will see you back soon.
On our little green couch.
Don't forget your jacket.
Bye. See you in 6 weeks.
It's Nora, Alysia, and Macy.
We are a girly podcast and we are on the floor.
Did I go the wrong way?
You definitely did.